Alan Parrish's wild. Robin Williams was 43 years old when he played Alan Parrish, a man who spent 26 years trapped inside a jungle board game. There is something almost unbearably poetic about that now. Robin Williams, the man who made the whole world laugh, had his own wilderness locked inside him, one that the cameras never fully captured. He had given us Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poets Society, Aladdin, and Mrs. Doubtfire. On the Jumanji set, he was pure electricity, improvising constantly, singing in the voice of Ethel Merman, making the crew collapse with laughter between takes. Kirsten Dunst, just 12 years old at the time, later said watching him was something she only truly appreciated as an adult. "It was really special," she said. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams died at his home in Tiburon, California. He was 63. The 2017 sequel, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, quietly referenced his character Alan Parrish, a beautiful tribute to a man who gave the world more joy than it ever gave back to him. We miss him. We will always miss him. Now, take a breath, because after that, we need a story that reminds us what a life fully lived can look like. Kirsten Dunst was just 12 years old on the set of Jumanji, playing Judy Shepherd with a sharpness that made you forget she was a child at all. But what happened next is the stuff of Hollywood legend. She became Mary Jane Watson in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, one of the most beloved franchises of its generation. She delivered a career-defining performance in Melancholia. She appeared in Civil War in 2024. Today, at 43, Kirsten is married to actor Jesse Plemons. They wed in 2022, and they have 2 children together. The girl who stared down stampeding rhinos in a fictional New Hampshire town grew up to become one of the most respected actresses of her generation. Not bad at all. But here's where the story takes a turn most people don't see coming. Bradley Pierce was 12 years old when he played Peter Shepherd, Judy's younger brother, the kid who nearly turned into a monkey. He was already a recognizable voice actor, having voiced Chip in Disney's Beauty and the Beast and Tails in Sonic the Hedgehog. On set, he watched Robin Williams go on those legendary improv riffs and genuinely didn't know who Ethel Merman was. He was just a kid, grinning and going along for the ride. And then, almost entirely, Bradley Pierce stepped away from Hollywood. A few smaller roles followed through the late 1990s, and then silence. No blockbusters, no franchise, just a quiet life, largely out of the spotlight. He was married in 2005, divorced in 2017, and has 3 children. Jumanji remains the peak of his on-screen journey. Some people chase the spotlight their whole lives. Bradley Pierce had it at 12 and chose something different. There is a quiet dignity in that. If Jumanji was a family, Bonnie Hunt was its warm, steady heart. She was 33 when she played Sarah Whittle, a woman haunted for decades by a terrifying childhood night with a board game. Off-camera, Hunt recalled the set as a place of pure joy, where she and Robin Williams would drop their characters between takes and improvise scenes based on that morning's headlines, with the crew as their delighted audience. After Jumanji, Bonnie Hunt built one of the most quietly extraordinary careers in Hollywood. She became a cornerstone of the Pixar universe. A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., the Cars trilogy, Toy Story 3 and 4. She hosted her own talk show. She wrote, directed, and produced. Today, at 63, she is a woman who has done exactly what she wanted with her talents, on her own terms, without ever needing to be the biggest name in the room. That kind of contentment is rarer in Hollywood than an Oscar. Jonathan Hyde did something in Jumanji that almost no actor was asked to do. He played 2 completely different characters in the same film: Sam Parrish, Robin Williams' warm and devoted father, and Van Pelt, the ruthless hunter determined to finish what the jungle started. He wasn't even supposed to play both. When they couldn't find a second actor for Sam Parrish, Hyde simply agreed to take it on. He was already a Royal Shakespeare Company veteran, a graduate of London's Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, the kind of actor for whom Hollywood blockbusters were almost a detour. After Jumanji, he appeared in Titanic, Anaconda, and The Mummy, before drifting back toward theater and prestigious television, including a notable recurring role in Guillermo del Toro's The Strain. Today, at 76, Jonathan Hyde is exactly the kind of actor who makes every production better simply by being in it. Audiences between 25 and 35 still approach him to say they terrified them as children. He considers that, in his own words, quite gratifying. And finally, Bebe Neuwirth. She played Aunt Nora Shepherd. Firm, determined, quietly terrified by the chaos that kept erupting around her. It was the perfect role for a woman who had spent years mastering the art of perfect composure. Because off-screen, Bebe Neuwirth was already a television legend. She had played Dr. Lilith Sternin on Cheers for years, one of the sharpest, driest, most iconic recurring characters in sitcom history. She went on to Blue Bloods and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Now, 66, she has been married to Chris Calkins since 2009 and continues to work with the quiet authority of someone who has never once needed to prove herself to anyone. The stampedes and crocodiles of Jumanji couldn't rattle Nora Shepherd, and 30 decades of Hollywood haven't rattled Bebe Neuwirth either. From Robin Williams' irreplaceable light to a 12-year-old girl who grew up to become a Spider-Man icon to a boy who found his way out of the spotlight, the Jumanji cast carried something more than their roles. They carried a piece of childhood for every person who ever sat in a dark cinema and let a board game change them. Which cast member's story moved you most? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe if you want more journeys like this one. And whatever you do, don't roll the dice unless you're ready for what comes next.